What's up, everybody? It's Thursday, March 27th, 2025. We are here for the Optimus Fantasy Football Podcast. We're going to be here every Thursday, barring vacations and such, through the rest of the offseason for you guys, because things are starting to ramp up, Casey. We've got a lot going on in free agency. We are leading towards the draft. We're running through some really interesting pro days. Speaking of which, we may or may not care about this. The big defensive name on the board, Abdul Carter, is not participating in Penn State's pro day. So that's an interesting little twist. I don't know how that affects him in the draft. And for those of you out there who play IDP, maybe something here to note. Other than that, we had Cam Ward trying out in Miami for teams. We'll talk about that here a little bit later. But let's get right to it here. The first big thing, Russell Wilson signs with the New York Giants 1 year, right around, I think it could be up to $10.8 million with incentives, Casey. Russell Wilson to the Giants. We thought maybe it was going to be Aaron Rodgers. It is not. They've already got Jameis Winston. They've already got Tommy DeVito on the staff. Is there a quarterback battle brewing here?
I mean, yeah, there's a quarterback battle brewing. I see both these guys. I can see positive. Obviously, there's positives and negatives to both these guys. My heart always leans towards Jameis just because it's Jameis. But
yeah,
I see that there will be a quarterback battle there, which is crazy to say that, oh man, there's going to be this big battle in New York. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? But
right.
Is it good for fantasy? I mean,
I think it's good for Tyrone Tracy as long as they didn't do anything running back geared in the draft, which I don't think they're going to. They have a first, second, and third round pick, a fourth. They've got 2 fifths, don't have a sixth, and have 2 seventh round picks. I don't think they're going to do anything with running backs. I definitely don't think they're going to do anything with wide receivers. If you look at this wide receiver room right now, they've got Diggs. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong wide receiver room here. But they've got Malik Neighbor. They've got Demario Douglas. This is a team. They've got Darius Slayton, who seems to be excited. He tweeted yesterday, "Let's ride Giants country," which cringy for all of us Denver Broncos fans. Please don't. But could Russell Wilson make this room a little bit better, Casey? I mean, it could Pop Douglas maybe pop a little bit. Could Malik Neighbors have a wide receiver one season this year with him?
Well, Pop Davis is with the Patriots, right? So,
oh god damn it, Pop Douglas,
I know yeah.
I know Wan'Dale Robinson.
It's my boy. That's what I was about to say.
We're talking Diggs next. Okay,
I know.
Wan'Dale Robinson.
You were going down the wrong path
down
there.
the wrong hole here.
I see where you were going, yes. But yes, I mean he probably could make Pop Douglas, But yeah,
if he was in New England.
I think he is actually going to help these wide receivers and as disappointing as it may have been last season for us when it came to like those guys, Slayton and my boy Wan'Dale, like the pops that were there. I think Russell's washed up, but I still think he has enough in him to be a feasible quarterback with the talent there at wide receiver.
I mean, Wan'Dale had 140 targets last season.
He saw lots of targets.
He saw a lot of volume. Wilson threw the ball 336 times last season. That was only in 11 games. 447 the year before in Denver, 483 the year before that. Wilson's never been that 600 volume guy, 600 attempt volume guy like we're seeing Joe Burrow do, like we saw Tom Brady do a couple times.
Yeah.
I can see him getting into the 500s in this offense because of what the Giants are. They don't have a stellar run game. And getting Malik Neighbors super involved, I can see him having 160 targets, but I can see Wan'Dale being in that 140 range again, because outside of these 3 receivers, you go to Darius Slayton. Who do they really have? Theo Johnson at tight end. We can talk about Daniel Bellinger, but I think that ship has really sailed. He seems to be a blocking in line guy. What do you expect from this team this year? I guess we'll kind of end this conversation on this. What do you expect from this Giants team this year? Do you think this is a team that can compete in the NFC East? And do you think this is a team where we're going to be drafting some of these guys a little bit later in drafts, like the Darius Slaytons and the Wan'Dales, and maybe getting more value out of them?
Yeah, I think you're definitely going to get the value out of these guys later. I'm not reaching for these guys at all, but yeah, I think you're going to get that. to be competitive in the NFC East. Now, I'm an NFC East gal with the Dallas Cowboys. I already know they're like whatever. The Giants, they're not. Nothing's really moving the needle for me right now. We'll see. This quarterback situation though, it's like this is like putting a Band-Aid on something. And so
sure,
I need them to address, obviously for them to feel more of the competitive nature with what's going on in the NFC East with the quarterback situations. And but the talent's there and the youth and all of that stuff that you see when you're like building your dynasty rosters, for instance, and you're like, why do I have so many Giants wide receivers on my team?
They do have a lot of them.
Yes.
Don't forget, they just signed little Jordan Humphrey away from the Broncos.
So. I probably have him on one dynasty league, I'm sure.
Everybody does. It's like a requisite of having dynasty teams. Last thing here. So we're assuming Russell Wilson is the starter.
Yeah.
I am going to predict, and I'm assuming Russell Wilson wins the starting job. We've seen how erratic Jameis Winston is as a starter. I can't see him actually winning the job in camp, and I don't think Dable even wants that in his brain. But I can see Russell Wilson having a rough go. This is not a very good offensive line. And unless they use that third pick to maybe draft an offensive lineman or Shedeur Sanders, you never know. They might not be done at quarterback. I find it really hard to think that they'd go after Shedeur at this point. But if Wilson flounders, I think we see Winston by week 6 because you know what? Why not?
Why not? I'm sure we're going to see little pops of Jameis in there every now and then anyway. Russ is going to need a breather, I'm sure. And it's fun to have Jameis out there, even though, he is a little erratic with his play. We're not going to lie there, but he's fun to watch out there, and he can get the ball to certain guys and really make guys pop. So I can see him tossing them out there.
If we see Jameis come in week 6, I think you can pretty much pencil in nearly 200 targets for Malik Neighbors. And we're talking like an average depth of target of 25 yards at that point. They're going to huck it down the field. Speaking of hucking it down the field here, we've got Jimmy Parag in the chat saying, what is up, people? Royal Slade. Good afternoon, Casey, Nate.
Howdy.
Thank you, Royal. I like the beard too. Everyone loves it. I don't think it's probably ever going away. Jamie does have a question for us, though. No. What if Daniel Jones starts for the Colts, Casey? Do you think Josh Downs gets 140 targets? I mean, and he makes a good point. Downs and Wan'Dale Robinson are very similar players. Mm-hmm. My answer is yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Me too. I am as well. I am. Yeah. Josh Downs. I'm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's go.
Well,
that would make me happy.
Every time Anthony Richardson was out, I was all in on Josh Downs. Now, the other half of this is Alec Pierce, someone who I just took a little bit later in a dynasty startup draft. I think Alec Pierce is probably the more fantasy beneficiary if we get to see Daniel Jones. Just because of the type, he's more of that midfield receiver that can get down the field deep and just chase a ball, which is why Anthony Richardson loved him so much. Guys, let's not confuse Daniel Jones for some all-pro quarterback here, all right? He's probably not going to start the season behind center. He's going to need Anthony Richardson to be bad, which tells you the quality of play they're expecting from Daniel Jones. So, just to be clear on that one. You know what? This is gross. Let's move on. We're going to talk about Stefon Diggs.
Here, we can talk about
Yes, we can talk about Pop Douglas.
Here we go.
Stefon Diggs signs a deal, 3 years, $69 million to return to the NFL with the New England Patriots. He's coming off of an ACL tear. Good God.
Got it.
In week 8. Got it. Coming off an ACL tear in week 8 of last season. He's 31 years old. Now, I have 12 years on him, but from an athletic perspective, it's not that far removed. Reports are he's going to be ready to play week 1. A lot of people are getting excited about, one, the perceived volume we're going to see out of Diggs in this New England offense, because there really just is not a lot else going on. Now we can talk about this here. Demario Douglas, Jalen Polk, Kendrick Bourne, Javon Baker, Mac Hollins at wide receiver 3, pretty much locked in. This is not an impressive wide receiver core.
It hasn't been for a while, has it?
has not been for quite a while. We've made a lot of jokes about how bad this wide receiver core is. So with that, if Diggs is healthy, I think I'm kind of in on him in New England. Drake May's a good quarterback. He was QB. Let me double check this here. He was QB last season. He had 13 games. 11 of those were starts. QB 23 in fantasy. That's not bad. Back end QB 2. He was startable most games that he started in 2 QB leagues. You add a veteran receiver, which is something he did not have last year, unless you count Kendrick Bourne, which I guess maybe you could. But this is a different level of vet. This is a vet who's been on teams that know how to win. He knows how to play the game. He can teach Drake Maye how to play the game the right way. And I think he fits that Patriot mold. I think Diggs can fit that Patriot mold if he can cut some of the diva crap. He's that type of receiver. How do you feel about this? Is he someone maybe in redraft you're targeting a little bit later down the line?
Yeah, later down the line. So that's one of those things where if he's healthy, sure. I'm still kind of having question mark about what he's going to look like when he goes out there and plays. But like I was trying to get Pop Douglas so bad last year to be that guy. I wanted him to be that guy. Yeah. You know, you could pick him up and plug him in. Didn't happen. But yes, they need somebody to step up over there. I would take a shot on Stefon Diggs later in drafts. Yeah. I'm not reaching for him. I'm not trying to take him probably where he's going to go. But if he falls to me, I'm going to take a shot on him. He's going to be the guy there. That's going to be that number one guy. You want to have those guys on your team, and you can wait and see what happens, and it could work out for you. So.
Yep. So we've got a question here in the chat from Jamie Prague. He wants to know if we think the Patriots will go after a wide receiver in the second or third round. You know, given their success in the draft of late, Casey, I don't know that they're going to really target receiver. They have some younger guys.
They do have
on this roster.
Lot of younger guys.
They've got Javon Baker, who I was impressed with preseason. I think maybe he has a chance where he could pop. Maybe he's learned some things. Getting better at running routes, a little bit better hand control in the air. Same thing with Jalen Polk. So I think maybe they look to develop these guys. However, we've got Royal Slate out there. He thinks they'll go after someone in round 2. Higgins and Knoll are interesting. Now, question here as well. Are we giving up on Polk in Dynasty? He was an early second rounder in the draft last year. I'm not yet. I'm
not yet either.
Yeah, Royal Slade seems to think that Javon Baker is in trouble, which he definitely was the rougher looking of the two, which I did not expect. I thought Polk would be a little bit rougher than he was.
My Dynasty brain goes, I have both of them on one of my rosters because I was like, I don't know which one. Let me just take them both.
You know, if I'm being honest, I probably am not trying to move either one of them right now. Plain and simple, because I just don't think the return's there. I want to see what happens in camp. If they get a little hype in camp, maybe I'll look to trade one or the other. Probably trade Javon Baker over Jalen Polk, because I do think that there's a bigger chance that Polk does something. All right, Casey, we're going to move on to the Minnesota Vikings. Reports are JJ McCarthy's rehab is looking really good. They're looking at eyeing him starting week 1. It sounds like they didn't get another quarterback. There's still some rumbling that maybe they'll go after Aaron Rodgers, but it's sounding like that's not going to happen. With this news, if McCarthy's the starter week 1, like it's sounding they really want him to be, are the Minnesota Vikings a top tier NFC team in 2025?
I think they are. And that kind of pains me because JJ McCarthy was a guy I just gave up in Dynasty. I know this was Dynasty, but I traded him away. Yay, I got Brock Purdy on my roster now, but I got some stuff. Anyway, back to this. JJ McCarthy, I think last year I had concerns going into the season with Darnold, thinking, and then to see what actually ended up happening, like it kind of blew my mind. I was like, not really all in on Sam Darnold, but it turned out to be decent. And I mean, if you look at Kirk Cousins and what he did or did not do last season, like, would they have been better off with him there? I don't know. They would. So like JJ McCarthy, I'm like, okay, I have faith with the weapons that he has around him. He's got there's tons of talent in that receiver room. And like, Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Scary.
You're talking about a kid who was pretty freaking good at Michigan, all right? And I don't like Michigan. Not a Michigan fan. But I'll give the kid, he was talented, all right? He's got a good wide receiver core around him. I mean, you've got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, just to start. You've got Jalen Naylor, who really did develop into and you were all over him. He developed into a quality receiver last year. They just brought in Rondale Moore. I mean, he lived up to his potential. Probably not what we all thought, but, he could get there, especially in an offense like this where the pressure isn't on him. He becomes a good role player. Yeah. And you've got TJ Hawkinson, of course. And I think this is the key for me. This was the biggest thing they did this offseason was they retained Aaron Jones. Yeah. McCarthy, a first-time starter in the NFL. He's 22 years old. You're going to give him a guy like Aaron Jones who can catch the ball anywhere on the field, but he can also bail you out of a lot of really bad situations with that ability to find the places on the field for McCarthy to throw it when he's in trouble. Having that veteran presence in the backfield when they're in shotgun and he's calling plays and he's got Aaron Jones in his ear helping him out a little bit. Those are the things that help quarterbacks progress and get very good. I love this. Aaron Jones, I think, could be a top 10 running back again this year. I think in this offense, that's absolutely possible. What do you think?
Yeah, let's go. UTEP. Let's go. Texas, baby. Represent my state. I think I'm glad he, first and foremost, I'm glad he stuck around there. That's great for me, for my leagues. I'm sure that's everybody else. Yeah. His yards per rush were down, but they were still, 4.5 is still, it's just down for him, but he still had, the highest yardage of his career rushing last. It's just his first year if they beef up the O-line, they've been doing that. Got a center, got a guard. Let's go.
Well, 15 games, he had 1,100 yards. His receiving stats were down a bit. He only had 2 receiving touchdowns, but his 5 rushing touchdowns were the most since 2020 for him. His game's changing a little bit. He's running the ball 255 carries. That was a career high for him as well last season. But, he hasn't had that much run on his legs. He didn't have more than 240 carries prior to the 2024 season. I think there's still some, as they like to say, tread left on those tires. And I love this. Jordan Addison. I also think he could be a viable wide receiver 2 this season in this offense behind Jefferson. Yeah. Not just a wide receiver 2 as far as fantasy goes. I think he's somebody we're talking about, maybe slots in wide receiver 20 to 23.
Love it. And don't feel bad drafting both those guys. If you draft both those guys, I did it last year and it really helped. So if you are one of those people that's I don't like drafting receivers from the same team.
Yeah, and if I miss out on Justin Jefferson and I do end up with Jordan Addison, I'm probably going to back into Addison with Naylor just because. Okay. Because Naylor's a guy you can get super late. Royal Slade wants to know what we think about Jordan Mason backing up Jones this year. I'm going to be honest, don't care.
I'm going to be honest, unless I have Mason on my rosters, I don't care. But I do have him on some. So I like to brag about how crappy my rosters are.
And then you go out and win. So there you go. Jamie throwing the Michigan sucks in the chat. Love to see it. We got Joel Work tuning in saying, "What's up, homies?" And the boy Chubbs Burger saying, "What is up?" down in New Orleans over there.
Hello, friends.
Mason should be the change of pace back for shorter yards. I think so, yes. But I don't know how many of those situations we're going to see in Minnesota. This is going to be a pass-heavy team. It's what Kevin O'Connell does. Loves to throw the ball. I don't expect that to change at all. Now, what I do expect to change, the quarterback in Tennessee, they hold the 101. The question here, and that we're going to be asking up to draft day, is who goes first? Post-pro day, he was on our thumbnail. Cam Ward, reports are that Tennessee is in love with this kid. Absolutely in love with him. However, Titans GM Mike Bergonzi said everything is still on the table with this pick at 101. Casey, do you believe him?
No. Just short and sweet and to the point. No, Levis ain't it. Levis ain't it. That's what I have big bolded right here. Levis ain't it. So.
Oh, Levis ain't it at all.
Levis ain't it at all. Let's go. Let's.
And the only other quarterback on their roster is Brett Rippon right now. So they've got Levis and Brett Rippon. Tim I think maybe they did sign Tim Boyle today as well.
Yes.
Big
Tim
news
Boyle.
in the NFL. Tim Boyle. Woohoo. So yeah, this is I don't know why they wouldn't take Cam Ward unless they get infatuated with Shooter Sanders. I mean, those are the 1-2, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying. Yeah, they're definitely quarterbacking it up right there. So
it's all smoke and mirrors. You're going to see a ton of that around the draft. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's Brandon Allen is the other quarterback. Brandon Allen.
Okay.
Yeah, gross. Yeah, we got in the chat here. Real saying he saw a report the Titans want 3 firsts to move off of the pick. That's not going to happen.
I snort laughed on that one.
I like Cam Ward. Okay, I think Cam Ward is a phenomenal quarterback. I think he's going to do really well in the NFL. I'm not trading 3 first-round picks to get to Cam Ward. Historically, that just doesn't go well for teams. San Francisco moved up. They gave up a bunch to get that 3rd overall pick, and they took Trey Lance, and look how that worked out. They moved up for Trey Lance. Well, they moved up for Mac Jones. Let's be honest. A little bit more panic in the fantasy community. Puka Nacua announces he's going to retire at the age of 30. Folks, he's 24 years old. Like, you don't have to worry about that now. It's like everybody freaking out about Tyreek a couple seasons ago saying, I'm probably going to retire in 2 or 3 seasons. And Dynasty Manager going, sell now. Well, are you working in 10-year windows?
No.
I
just want to be able to say that I retired at 30. Jeez.
I know,
wait
right?
until that day hits, but
I know. And the fact of the matter is, I mean, come on, dude. He's 24 years old. My only question around Puka right now and his value is we've got Davante Adams there.
Mm-hmm.
How is that going to look for Puka having Davante Adams lined up on the other side of him?
Right.
I think it's going to look great.
It's going to be, because, I mean, we were talking about Minnesota earlier and how they support their 2 top wide receivers. I mean, same thing here. Matthew Stafford is my kind of like, okay, well, we're going to talk about these guys and retiring and getting old and stuff. I mean, he's still decent, and he's still and Devontae last year sneakily top 12 or whatever. So like, it's going to be nice.
Oh, and that's the thing. Last year in New York, for as bad as we talk about Aaron Rodgers was, and for as bad as those Jets teams were, Garrett Wilson and Davante Adams were wide receiver 10 and wide receiver 11 in PPR. So, right? So as much as I don't like Aaron Rodgers, if he ends up in Pittsburgh, okay, that's probably good for DK Metcalf and George Pickens at least. If nothing else, maybe a little bit of Muth action in there. But looking at Davante Adams now with another aging quarterback, Matthew Stafford, minus the ayahuasca, and then you've got Puka, a young receiver. These guys could both have top 10 seasons in PPR formats, and I don't think that's really that wild to say. Peppered. I'm buying. If people are going to go be down on Puka Nacua right now, buy. Buy. It's ridiculous.
I wish they were down on him in my leagues. Come on, y'all.
God, right? Oh, man. I wish. Whew. Oh, man.
It would be
all
nice.
Right, well, that's going to do it for our football news part. But we do have some fun stuff to talk about. We have a new partnership with FastDraft Fantasy. If you guys haven't tried it, it is the new way to do best ball. It's awesome. These off-season contests are just incredible. They're short drafts, 20-second clocks. Right now, I've been running the Origins contests. It's all rookies. You get to prioritize them. You get to set different tiers, 1.5 points, 1.25 points. You get to tier these guys, prioritize them. It's fun. And a draft takes like all of 5 minutes. If you haven't checked it out, go to fastdraft.app. You can check it out on your phone, on Android, and they also have it on the Apple Store. Promo code Optimus, $50 deposit match once you play your first match. Come and find me. I am trying to find drafts as often as I can because it's just fun. Easy way to draft. You're in and out. Speaking of being in and out, guys, make sure you check out the Sunday Dreamers Club. Where did that go? There we are.
Yeah.
Check out the Sunday Dreamers Club. It is all the fantasy football merch you could ever want. 20% off through April 5th on all of your orders. It's a wonderful thing.
It's a wonderful thing.
Merch.
And it helps me out. It makes me, it puts a smile on my face. And some days when you're having just kind of a crap day, you see that order come through and you see the name next to it. And you're like, it's my homie for life.
Yeah. And when you're out in the world, and you see a rando wearing a fantasy football shirt, how cool is that? You can make new friends that you never knew you would ever make.
It does happen, guys. It really does.
It really does. Yeah, no, dude, it's great stuff. Go check it out.
Thank you.
And of course, guys, now we have coming up tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern, the Optus Mailbag and Ask Me Anything will be live right here on YouTube. I'll be with Kevin Tompkins and Keith Fleming to answer all your off-season questions, redraft dynasty. If you've got some future props questions, we can answer those for you as well. We're going to be back every single Friday with that show, so get those questions in. Emails team@optimusfantasy.com. DM us on Blue Sky @optimusfantasy.bsky.social. Then on Monday, the debut of a new show, Optimus Monday, with myself and Kevin Tompkins and some guests here and there. We're going to break down everything from the week prior and get you ready for the week ahead. Trades you need to be targeting, news you need to be looking out for, and probably just having fun because it's a Monday. Trying to make your day better. You know?
Yeah.
It's a good way to start your week. That is at noon Eastern, 10 Pacific. Check us out, guys. Casey, thanks so much. This was fun.
Thanks. It was. I appreciate you having me again, as always,
every week.
And coasting. That's what we do here. We're having a good time. We appreciate all of y'all too. P.S. Mwah.
Thank you so much for showing up, guys. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel while you're here. We're going to have a lot of content coming. We'll be announcing the full schedule next week, as well as we've got a full. Casey, you've seen the content schedule. It's big. We got a lot coming.
Big.
A lot coming. Some tools coming soon. Ran into some snag with those. We're supposed to have a big announcement, but we're getting there, folks. I promise. We're going to have them hopefully by May for you. So check all that out. OptimusFantasy.com. For Kacey Kasem, I am Nate Polvogt. We will see you guys next week.